guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be discussing the different types of resin and what they are used for. I did the research so you don't have to. So if you are new here, please hit the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Not only do I post sometimes informational videos, but I mostly post art, things that I've created, coasters, vases, things like that. And if you are a follower already, thank you so much for watching my videos. And let's get into it. So first things first, I will insert some pictures, or if I have the items, I will show you myself of the different types of resin, and then I will give you samples of things that they're used for. So first thing we're going to start off with is deep pour resin, which I have. And it comes with two parts, part A and part B. Now, I'm not exactly sure why they give you 1 gallon of part A and a half gallon of part B. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. So it's 2 parts A and 1 part of B. So if you need 6 ounces of something, you would do 4 ounces of part A and 2 ounces of part B. I haven't researched exactly why that is, but that is what it is. I do know that with all deep pour resins, it's 2-to-1 ratio. So I use the brand Unicone Art. Is it the best out there? Probably not, but it's a really good brand that I like. I haven't tested too many deep pours. So actually, I think this is the first brand I got that was deep pour, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really tested many deep pours out there, but this one works just great. So you can either get this brand or you can test your own out and see what you like best. And then the next is regular resin. I call it regular resin. I don't know if there's another name for it, but it's just, this is also by Unicone Art. And these are equal parts, equal gallons of part A and part B, so 2 gallons total. And it is 1-to-1 ratio. So if you need 6 ounces, it would be 3 and 3. And again, there's many different brands of resin out there. So it's up to you to decide which brand you like best. I just happen to use Unicone Art. So yeah, I have tried another brand called Illumilite, which is good as well, but that was the first brand I tried, and I wanted to see what else was out there, and this was the second brand I've tried. So far I've been having good luck with it. Next you have Quick Coat. And I will insert a picture of that because I unfortunately do not have Quick Coat. I don't use it very much with the things that I do because I'm not usually in a hurry to get things done. So, like I said, I will insert a picture of that. And then there's one more resin. Let me look at my papers real quick. Oh, and then there's UV resin. UV resin is used to, or not to, but used with a UV light or a UV lamp. Let me see, I have one here. You can either use, they make like flashlight UVs, or you can use this. This is just a small one I have, depending on what size item you're doing. Has a little USB cord, so you can use that. And then, let's see. Oh, and the UV resin usually comes in small bottles. You don't get a huge jar of it because it's mainly for small projects. So now what I'm going to do is get into what each of these is used for. All right. So first off, we talked about deep pour. So when you're using molds, such as this, which is taller, this is where deep pour would be good, because if you used regular resin in this, or even the quick cure, it would most likely do a fast cure, which is not good. That creates really toxic fumes, and you do not want that. Speaking of toxic fumes, that reminds me that to tell you guys that when you're working with resin, you should wear proper protection, personal protection equipment. It's PPE. And that would be wearing nitrile gloves. I have them on now because I'm working on some other projects here with resin. So you want to make sure you're wearing nitrile gloves specifically, because any other type of glove, it can kind of seep through and get onto your skin, and you don't want that. And then also wear a respirator mask. If you are not in a well-ventilated room, I work outside, so I don't always have to wear a mask, especially when I'm talking to you guys. I don't wear a mask because, like I said, I'm outside in a well-ventilated area. So I'm not 100% worried about it. But if you are in a room that, even if it has ventilation in it, you should still wear your mask, because you may not feel it right away, but over time, the toxins will get into your lungs, and it is not good for you. So, I don't know where my skull mold went. I just had it out the other day, but it's also deep pore like this. It's even taller than this. So again, deep pore is used for things like this, deeper molds, so that you don't get a flash cure, it's called. You can also use them on tabletops. I will insert a picture here of a table that I did, and I actually didn't use deep pour on this, although it is meant for, you can use it for that. But you can also use regular resin or quick cure, depending on how deep the table is. Mine was just a top coat, so I wasn't too worried about it. But if you're doing like a river table, then you would definitely want to use deep pour. So I will, like I said, I will insert a picture up here so you can see the table that I did. Next, we are going to talk about quick coat. So quick coat is used for several things. You can use it for, like I said, quite a few. You can use it for tumblers if you need it to dry fast in between coats. Like if you put, let's say you have already started your tumbler and you put either some vinyl on there or a water slide or something, and you want to seal it quickly so that you can get to the next step instead of having to wait the 24 hours to go to the next step. You could use it there. Again, like I said, you could use it on the tabletops if you're not doing, anything deep like the river tables. And let's see, I wrote some notes down, so I'm just making sure I cover everything. If you're doing if you're doing a tumbler and you want to apply some glitter and use it as your glue, you can do a very thin coat of that as well, and then apply your glitter, and it will dry much faster. So that's another way that you can use quick coat. So it's basically fast curing so that you can move on to the next step. Or if it's your final step and you just want to be done with your project, because some of these projects take way too long. If you work with resin, you know this already. And then we have your regular resin, which is good for things like coaster molds. You can do keychains with them. Here is a paw print mold I have. This could be a keychain, it could be ornament, many different things. And then also you can even use it for this is a jewelry mold. You can use it for this as well. And you can also use those for, you can also use regular resin for tumblers. You can use that for tabletops too if you're just doing a thin, top coat. And that's pretty much what you can use those for. So, you know, like, oh, I use it also on, when I do my bases. You can use it on bases. Anything that's kind of a thin coat, nothing too thick. Like this mold here is probably about a 1/2 inch thick. I think you can use regular resin up to about 2 inches. Anything higher than that, you want to do deep pour. All right, and then the next resin we're going to talk about is the UV resin, which I showed you was this little bottle here. And again, there's different brands of UV resin. This is from Let's Resin. And when you're using UV resin, there's 2 things you need to remember. The mold has to be clear like this. If you're using something like this, it will not work. And it's usually meant for smaller projects. Like, although this is kind of a clearish mold, it's too much UV resin to cure at one time. It has to be thin. So I don't know if you can see on camera here. I'm trying to bend it this way. So these are very thin inside, like maybe 1/8 of an inch deep, something like that. So very thin. Here, I can show you here. I think I did UV resin with this one. So you see how thin that is? It has to be thin like that in order for it to cure properly. And again, you're going to use something like this UV lamp with a USB cord, or they may make battery operated ones. I'm not sure. This was the first one I bought before I really dove into UV resin. I also have a flashlight one. The problem with the flashlight one, because it's actually it's not battery operated, it's USB rechargeable, but the problem with it is if I don't use it often enough, it loses its charge, and then by the time I need to go use it again, I forget about it, and then I have to charge it, and I'm in the middle of a project. So I prefer the USB one that you just plug in and use it right then and there. You don't have to worry about charging it or any of that kind of stuff. And again, like I said, you want to make sure your mold is clear. I probably could use it on something small like this if it was clear, because it's not too deep. But yeah, so mostly for jewelry, or let me show you. Oh, I also have these kind of jewelry things. There's little bezels. They are, I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it has a little indent inside, and you add whatever you want to, whether it's just colored resin or maybe like a dried flower, and then you're gonna put the UV over it to seal it in there. And then the UV resin also helps protect against the UV rays when you're out in the sun, you know, wearing something like that. And then lastly but not leastly, actually I think that was it. We talked about them all. I talked about UV resin, deep pour, quick coat, and regular. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about the regular is I also use them on canvases. So I don't really do canvases anymore. If you watched my channel way back, probably like 2.5, 3 years ago when I first started, I was doing a lot of canvases. But the problem with canvases, I think, is 2 things. I was making small ones, like maybe 12 by 12 or like 10 by 20 or 8 by 10, you know, kind of really small side. And I think people don't like the small one. If they're going to hang an art piece, I think they want a big statement piece. And so I have a bunch of small canvases sitting in a 27-gallon tote that I need to sell. So hopefully I can get rid of those soon. I'm doing a market in December, so hopefully I'll sell them then. And I don't know if I'll go back to them, because I said it's also hard to store them. Even if you do the big ones, like where are you going to put them? You know, you have to have a big art studio to store them and all that. So anyways, so yes, I forgot to mention that you could use the regular resin on canvases as well to seal them in. You don't have to use resin. You can use like a spray sealer. I don't have one handy right next to me. I was trying to find one. But like Rust-Oleum makes it. Like if you just go to Home Depot, you can pick up like Rust-Oleum or something like that, just a quick clear coat, spray paint, you can do that as well. So I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. If you guys still have any questions, please leave them down below, and whether I know it or not, I will try to find out the answer for you and get back to you on that. So hopefully this video helped you on what kind of resins there are and what you use them for. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.